Bucky again. Wanted to talk to you about another subject that just really surprises people. Ask yourself, when was the last time that you sold a house? Has it been a few years? When was the last time you bought a house? Has it been a few years? A lot of things change over the years, and especially if you haven't bought a property since 2008 or 2009, there's been a lot of restrictions that's been mandated down. The good news is we have options for you. Okay, when you come to us to look at us buying your property, we give you two options. We keep it real simple. Option one is we show you how to get the maximum ARV, so our ARV program. Okay, our ARV program shows exactly how you can get top value out of your property. Option two is if you don't want to go through all those steps, we'll give you a cash offer today. We'll write you out a contract to purchase your property, and we'll close on that quickly for you. Okay, we'll give you cash for your property and close at a title company. So rest assured that you're going to leave that day with money in hand and a closing that is at a legitimate company there. Okay, so let's talk about some of the things that have changed over the years and some of the anomalies that surprise sellers when they're trying to get a property sold. Okay. If you want to know more about an ARV program, we'll talk to you a little bit later about that. First off, you have to make a decision on what the value of your property is. Okay. If you're not in the real estate business or you haven't bought properties in a while, there's a number of different places where you can go. You can just put in our website will tell you the value of your property, okay? But what we really like to show you is the after repair value to get you the maximum dollar, right? Because that's what everybody wants. In order to get the maximum value, you're gonna have to get this in retail condition, okay? When you get it in retail condition, it takes time and it takes money. Then you have to deal with home inspectors. Okay, do you know what a home inspector is? A home inspector is somebody that is selected by the bank or an appraiser that's selected by the bank that comes out and reviews your property. Okay, the banks will not lend money to a retail buyer, which if you're trying to get maximum dollar out of your property, you're going to be selling to a traditional buyer who's going to go through and get a mortgage, which is a loan from a bank or a mortgage company. And they're going to go through this whole 30 to 45, 60 days, sometimes 90-day process in order to purchase your home. Okay? So let's walk you through that example. Say I'm a retail buyer. You've got your property ready to go. I go and I take a look at the property. Hey, I want to make an offer, right? I like your listing price, and then I'm pre-approved by my mortgage company for say $150,000, right? Your property is listed for $145,000. So we start the process. They go through a bunch of different things on the back side as a retail buyer, but I'm a retail buyer in this example. Okay. So as we go through that whole process, that lender is going to require an appraisal of the property. Okay, that appraiser will go out and walk through the property. If there is anything that needs repairs, he's going to note that on his appraisal. Some states have caps on repair caps, some states don't. Okay, and we can talk more about that at a later time. What we're going to have to do after you receive that appraisal on your property, one, it has to appraise for what you're wanting to sell it for. If it doesn't, that buyer would have to bring in extra money to the closing. Okay, so let's say it only appraised for $140,000. He's approved for $150,000, but the house only appraised for $140,000. If he truly wants to buy your property, he's gonna have to bring $5,000 to the closing in cash, plus any closing costs, origination fees for his loan, and all that. Okay, a typical buyer a retail buyer could have 13 grand in just closing costs, right? And you're going to have to pay closing costs as well. Okay. So in that scenario, we have to establish what that appraiser is going to see, right? And not all appraisers are consistent, right? You may get an appraiser that comes out and that says, oh, I noticed a crack in that window, or it seems to be there's foundation problems, and they'll order an inspection, and the inspector will come out and do a detailed analysis of the property. They will check every plug. They'll check the foundation. They'll crawl under the house. They'll look at the windows. They'll look at the roof. The appraiser will do some of that and note big things that they see, but sometimes they will request a detailed home inspector to go through and verify everything. Okay, and a lot of times, buyers will do that just for their peace of mind. But what happens is one home inspector or one appraiser may have a completely different look at that property. So you may think, you have this property in retail condition, or you went through and fixed all your house up, and then you realize, oh, I didn't notice that foundation issue, right? Or, there's cracks in the walls, and they noticed that, or there was a leaky spot in the closet that they noticed. So these guys are professionals. They look at it, but they are humans, so they miss stuff sometimes. Okay. So as you're getting ready to sell this property, you're like, oh, I got this property ready to sell. I've got it this value. Well, it doesn't appraise, right? Okay. Or there was a bunch of items that you thought you had covered during your, the phase that you were fixing the property up, ready to sell, and they didn't encompass those. Okay. That is all on the risk of the random appraiser and the random home inspector. Okay, you can't control either one of those factors. They're out of your control. They come directly from the lender, and it's a random pool now. Okay, so that means in the past they would actually have home inspectors or home appraisers that lenders preferred, and they could actually get more money out of your house than it was actually worth. And then that's what led to a lot of the housing crash back in 2008, 2009, if you were around then. That being said, there's a lot of risk when you put your property's worth and value into another person's hand. Okay, so just keep that in mind when you're trying to get the top dollar out of your property. Those are extenuating circumstances that you can't control. You're not going to be able to control the appraiser that comes out and appraises the property. And another thing bad about it, if you decide not to sell it and the appraiser goes through the process, sometimes they turn that into the tax assessor. So now the tax assessor has a new value on your property, and your property taxes could go up. Okay? So keep those factors in mind. What I would suggest, if you're ready to go through that process and try to get the most money out of your property, just know that these are random setbacks that lose your profit on your property every time you go through this process. Okay? And then you're going to have to pay out closing costs as well during the closing part of the loan. And that means you're not going to pay out of pocket. It's going to be deducted from your profits. Okay? So keep that in mind. If you want to go through our ARV program, or if you want our cash offer program, we will give you two best options here. The cash offer program, you don't have to worry about home inspectors. You don't have to worry about appraisers on your property, because we are experts in buying the property, and we don't have to go through that whole process of working with traditional banks. We can pay cash immediately. We can close. And when I mean cash, I mean essentially we're going to go to the closing company, the title company, and close on your property. And you're going to leave with a check or a wire transfer to your bank. You're not going to walk out with a briefcase full of cash. They typically don't do that. They'll just initiate a check to you or initiate a wire transfer, which most people do directly into their checking account. But the benefit is it's simplified when we say we pay cash for your property, meaning that we don't have to go through the traditional lending practices. We skip all those. With our cash reserves, we can just buy the property without an inspector. We can buy the property without going through a real estate agent. We can buy the property without having to do a single thing. You know, if this is a property that you've had a while, or you had tenants that were in there and it's full of junk and you don't want to clean it out, you don't even have to worry about that. We will take the property as is. You know, if there's foundation problems, if there's roofs, problems, if there's leaky faucets, all those are different things that a home inspector or an appraiser is going to catch and make you fix before you sell your property to that retail buyer or the traditional buyer that goes through a bank. We want to give you the highest value we can. We have to, we'll show you with our ARV option, all the costs that occurs in there, and we'll give you the maximum dollar for your property. So I encourage you to think about those things as you're going down the process of selling your house. We would like to buy it. We love to buy houses. We buy and keep the properties. We buy and fix up the properties. We buy and build portfolios as well. So we have portfolio groups that we build and drop properties into as well. So we have many different options. And again, we've been buying property since 1997 is when I bought the first property. And over the years, we bought properties in all different types of situations, whether it's bankruptcy, whether it's divorce, whether it's probate, or inherited properties, or just tired of having a property that's a rental. We can help you out in whatever situation is. Even if you don't have any equity in your property, meaning that your property isn't worth what you owe on it. In other words, we can help you in those situations. So our ARV program gives you the best opportunity to get the most dollar out of your property, or you can use our cash offer program. So you have two options when you meet with us. One, you'll be able to get maximum dollar. Two, you'll be able to walk away now with complete ease and not have to do a thing to your property. So we always want to give our potential sellers the best options that works for your situation, because we know everybody's different. And you guys have different goals for those properties, but we want to buy those homes however capacity that helps you the best, and whatever capacity that will help our neighborhoods improve in value. Thank you very much. If you'd like to learn more about home inspectors or the processes, stay tuned.